All right, so we're over at Aventura, and we're here with Alex and the gang that runs this place, and it's very impressive. There's a lot of airplanes sitting around, and they're on they have their own website. Obviously, they have a lot of airplanes flying. It's kind of a competitor with a Sea Ray, but according to Alex, and I kind of agree, disagree. I'm an engine guy, but I like a lot of the features of this airplane. I really like the fact that it's not as pricey. That's a really good thing. I think it's a lot more attainable, affordable, and it also has some really nice features. One thing I like is the turtle deck in the back is removable. You can really get to everything on this airplane without climbing upside down and so forth and so on. But we're not here for that. We're here today because one of these aircraft now has a Viking 130 engine. And how's that been as far as the installation? And more importantly, today we were doing a thrust test. And how's that compare? Mostly like, RPM versus power and whatever. What do you think?
Definitely. So, well, the installation was pretty simple. I mean, we've had experience with the automotive conversions before, so we had a bed mount already kind of established, so we were able to mount it pretty simply.
Right.
At that point, once we got everything tweaked out, and obviously with that prop combo, we were running originally, it was like 4,500. We were getting about 477 pounds of thrust.
Well, we were a little confused because initially we put less pitch in than an existing airplane here. Based on that, the gearbox ratio is a little bit lower.
Yep.
And we were still pulling quite a bit, but we just couldn't turn that big propeller any more than 4,500. But we were still impressed with the thrust.
477. So then we ended up changing the pitch a little bit. And now we're getting what was it?
565, 562, 565,
and 5150. So.
And we know that if we went to 54 or 58, we'll go through 600. But there's a point where there's enough thrust, and also the airplane. If we could get a low RPM cruise in this airplane, we would have low fuel burn, we have a quiet ride, less vibration through the airframe. So we're kind of, I would say we would settle on this 5100 now, and then we'll, maybe you can fly it when it's ready.
We'll do a few test flights and see how she performs and adjust as necessary. But yeah, so far so good.
All right, awesome. Well, it was very nice coming over here, and
thank you.
Thanks for making a great airplane.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Now this next shot you'll see, just browse by real quick, but it looks like 200 and some pounds of thrust. It's because the scale is actually the other way around. It's 562 pounds of thrust. It's exciting for someone to, like myself, to listen to Alex say that the startup and the shutdown of the Viking 130 is the smoothest that he has experienced. You'll see that in the next video. He said there's something about the way the gearbox and the coupling and the propeller and everything works together that enables it to start smoothly and stop smoothly with no jerking around. And of course, this is something that we work on a lot through the torsion dampening system and our tuning of the engine on our dyno and so forth and so on. But most customers don't notice this unless they're someone like Alex that has flown the Rotax powered airplane of his own kind, the Aventura, and the other conversion engines, and then now the Viking. And getting such a compliment, of course, highlights the things that we know that we work on all the time to perfect the engine and make it as user-friendly and as nice to operate for the customer as we possibly can. See you, Rob. Yeah, one.
Good, Rob.
Yep. We got the Viking 130 on the Aero Adventure Aventura. We'll do a test test. Got Alex that runs this company up in the cockpit. 5150 on the RPM.
How many foot-pounds?
Well, it was exciting today going over there, seeing Alex at Aventura and just seeing what they are able to do, all those airplanes in the hangar, and the expansion that's taking place over there. Of course, Viking would like to have their engine, which is us, on the Aventura because of the performance that we believe the Viking 130 can give to that airplane. We've already flown the Viking 130 on the Sea Ray, and it just jumps out of the water. So just seeing the testing that we did today, it's very encouraging. And obviously, once Alex takes the plane over to the lake and does a little bit of flying, it's going to be very impressive. Some notable things, of course, was like we talked about while I was over there, is that even at 4,500 RPM, the airplane was producing a huge amount of thrust up and beyond. Even a Rotax 912 is usually 420 pounds, and that's at 5,800 RPM. And of course, in this case, we were making 475 pounds of thrust at 4,500 RPM, which enables the airplane to cruise at 4,000 RPM leisurely. Now, we did reset the pitch just to get closer to 600-pound thrust in order for the airplane to, with 2 people and full fuel and lots of baggage, can just like leap out of the water. 600 pounds is quite a bit for a light sport aircraft. What we've seen, we didn't quite get there because we only went to 5150 RPM with the prop pitch setting that we went. So RPM still a little bit down, but exciting to see that you can get that kind of power with a lower RPM. 562 pounds of pull on the scale, digital scale, with only 5150 RPM. So still a long ways to go to 5,800 RPM, and but nobody says you have to go to 5,800 RPM just because Rotax goes to 5,800 RPM, because they don't really have a lot of torque at any lower RPM. For instance, if you go to the Viking 130 website and you look at the torque graph on the Viking 130, you'll see that there's no real benefit other than like extreme instant takeoff to go to that kind of an RPM. In any case, a lot of fun today. I hope that we can supply a lot of engines, of course, to the Aventura factory and the Aventura builders that are out there.